Where do you even start when you're defensively game planning on how to kind of control this thing?
Yeah, well, I think you got to play a lot of down safety defense, and you got to be gapped out, and I mean truly gapped out. We know exactly where our fits are at, and there'll be times where we'll play some split safety, but man, that's what we have to hone in on. Is like, here's your gap, here's your responsibility. They run that pistol run stuff, so they can go either way with it. There's a lot of eye candy. And I think really our safeties are going to be a huge part of this game for us to have success. They've got to be where they need to be and be ready to fill. And I know all three of those backs. I mean, Freeman, when he was at Atlanta, he gave us troubles. I know Murray intimately in New Orleans, so I know what he's capable of. He's been a good back for a long time. And all three of them have done a good job, to your point. But it does start with that quarterback. He's dynamic. And I think keeping him away from the open field is, let's find a way to force him to hand this ball off, really, is what you're looking for.
Really, if David is as good as...
You don't think David's like Lamar Jackson?
Respectful.
I didn't say that, you did.
I did.
Just so you know.
So, we've seen other coaches throw running backs or receivers back there. What do you do to kind of get your guys prepared for that look?
Well, look, I think that first you just got to get the functionality of it. And so I know, like, Blau can do all that stuff. He gets the shifts, the motions, because it's not just getting back there and simulating read run. Like, here comes these jet and turbo motions. Here comes so by the time you try to orchestrate it with a receiver, sometimes it's not all that, unless you know they've been an ex-quarterback and they've run that in college. So for us, that's the starting point. No, you can't. You can only do so much, but I think just to be able to functionally see it and react to it goes a long way. Yes, sir. Gapped out.
Oh,
G.
Yeah.
It's my Texas twang.
Didn't know.
Gapped out.
Last time you saw a guy like Lamar, just how dynamic he is, you saw the performance he's coming off. Like, when's the last time you saw somebody dynamic like that?
Michael Vick, probably be the closest thing. Even back in the day, he created the issues he did. I would say that's the closest thing, but this guy's, he's a rare breed, and just for the fact that he has the explosiveness and the speed that he has, and then certainly being able to throw the ball, because the minute you start trying to take all that stuff away, and you have to have a jump on it, you have to have a step on where you need to be to get to your gap, that's when they go right behind you, and they got speed now at receiver to get on top of you in a hurry with no underneath coverage because you're trying to drive on the run. That's the key for us. It's how do we get them in third and long? It's easier said than done. I think our offense is going to have a huge part of this. If we can find a way to get up on these guys and put a little more pressure on them, getting in some third and long, if we can force them into more known passing downs, that'll help us, But that being said, these guys will run it now. They'll run their offense on 3rd and 8. They're not just rolling out like, okay, here's our 3rd down pass. They'll do what they do on 1st, 2nd down, which you got to be careful. You go out there and we're going to run our dime defense and then they run the read run one more time, man. So I think our offense is every bit as important to this whole thing as our defense.
Jared Goff, that he's thrown more tight window touchdowns in 2 games than he did all of last year. Have you guys done something to maybe encourage him to trust that arm, trust the receivers a little bit more, and it's okay to try to squeeze the ball into that situation sometimes?
Yeah, I think that just from day one, we want him to feel good about pulling the trigger, particularly with some of our guys that we really trust. And, certainly Hawkinson, man, if you got a one-on-one, just give him a chance. It doesn't have to be a perfect throw. And I think sometimes when you do that, it does, it actually helps it be a perfect throw, if you will. So, yeah, we just try to take pressure on him and say, listen, if you got your one-on-one and you like it, play ball. Let it rip, But he's playing with a high level of confidence. He really has after the last 2 weeks, And look, you can't excuse the turnovers, but if you take those away, he gave us a chance. He would have given us a chance to win. He made some pretty dang good throws, and he improvised a little bit, which is you didn't necessarily always see that at the Rams, So that was encouraging to us.
It's kind of, I don't know that you want that every year.
Yeah. Just to take what you can get.
Could you sense a difference in Jared going into Monday night as opposed to maybe last Sunday? You mentioned confidence. He entered that game Sunday. Was it different at all for you?
No, I felt like he was locked in like he was for the first game. I didn't feel like there was anything different one way or another. You know, he's a pretty low-key guy. You know, he never gets too high, never gets too low, which I like that about him. And now there's things that when he gets a little upset, like in practice, he'll let you know, and I like that too. But he really, the approach was the same.
Yeah, I'm curious about A.J. Parker. Seems like he's played pretty well. I saw he's been targeted 3 times in 2 games, which seems like pretty low. Is that an anomaly, or is he playing that well? I mean, what's the...
Yeah, look, I do think he's playing well. He's another one of our young guys that, you know, undrafted rookie who is playing more like a vet. He's I would say he's a level 401 thinker, which is good for a rookie, you know, and he plays that way. He's one step ahead, and I think he kind of knows his own limitation and is able to overcome that a little bit, if you will. So we're pleased with where he's going, and he has. I mean, he sees things quickly. You know, even the speed sweep, even they scored on it, but that he saw it, and you see him drive on that, and he was this close to getting there. But yeah, we like, he's in a good place.
Yeah, I didn't want to ask about that before the season, the preseason was looking too far ahead, but week 3 now, this gaunt you've kind of faced to start your tenure here. How do you look at it? Do you say, come on, give me a break, schedule makers, or do you like the fact that your guys are seeing maybe some of the best of the best, particularly maybe from organizational, cultural standpoints?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's the hand we're dealt, and I think anything that doesn't break us just makes us stronger. And I'm trusting the guys that we have in this locker room that we're going to go back to work and just clean up the errors that have killed us the last 2 games. And I'm still waiting for that game to where we play the way that we're capable of playing, clean up the little errors, and then see what it looks like. See what the scoreboard looks like then. That's what we're like. There was a number of things. I mean, even, you know, you guys heard me say about the shallow cross drill, like our receivers were better this week. We were better up front in the D-line, gapping out things, you know. We handled the run better. But yet then there's these other little issues on the perimeter that show up, or on the edge, or in the back end. And so now we just got to clean those up and see if we can put together more of a complete game, if you will.
Can that be done in a short week?
Sure it can be done, you know, and that's the plan. I mean, that's why we got them in the building, is to try to get these things corrected and then move on to Baltimore. You know, it's doable, and that's the plan. I mean, that's how we're approaching it. It's like, let's clean this up, and now let's get ready for Baltimore. And you guys heard me say it, and you're going to get tired of hearing me say it, but it's the most important game of this season because it's the next one.
Yep, Dan, you spoke about the receivers. Can you speak on the emergence of Quintez Cephas in this offense and what he can bring moving forward the next couple weeks?
Yeah, well, he's a young guy, and he made some plays early, and then there's some plays that you want him to win on that didn't happen late, but that's part of his growth. And so what's encouraging is that he did make plays early, and the potential is there, and even some of his just route discipline was better overall. That from San Francisco, actually a lot better. So that shows that there's improvement. He's got to just keep coming. You just got to keep getting better. And the more he does that, the more golf will trust him and give him opportunities.
Because I read this a couple weeks ago that maybe it happens way less frequently than we realize, but like, how often on a given play are all 11 guys doing exactly what they're supposed to? You know, I mean, like, is that a rare thing when they're exactly what they're supposed to? You know,
I think what happens is offense. It needs to happen a lot more than defense, because one guy on defense can do it wrong and blow a whole play up sometimes, whereas offense, one guy does it wrong and everybody else is. It's kind of the. But I would say, tell me where the play's going and what the scheme. Like if I'm the backside receiver and I miss a block, but we're running wide zone this way, you'll probably get away with it. You know. So yeah, it's not always perfect, but I think that the hard thing is when, let's say, for example, the offensive line does everything right, except for Nelson on this play, but then everybody else is good, and then Sewell, the next play is bad, and then the next play it's our right guard, and then it's like, oh man, at the end of the day, well, they only had one error, but yeah, we had 5 errors, one from each guy for 5 plays, and it crushes you, it kills you. So you have to be on point a lot more than you're not, you know. Yeah, I hate to put a percentage on it, but yeah, probably not as much as you would think.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. All right.